Life is full of uncertainties, and we often exhaust ourselves chasing what we desire. But the Stoics teach us a simple truth: what is meant for you will come, and what is not was never yours to begin with. Instead of wrestling with fate, we must align with it. True peace is found not in force, but in flow. In life, one of the most valuable lessons we can learn is the ability to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. This principle is at the heart of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to focus our energy on the things we can influence and accept with grace the things we cannot. It is through this practice that we find peace, resilience, and a sense of inner freedom. We are often consumed by a desire to control every aspect of our lives. We try to manage how others perceive us, control the outcomes of every decision, or manipulate situations to align perfectly with our desires. However, the Stoics believed that this pursuit of control over the uncontrollable only leads to frustration, anxiety, and disappointment. Consider the things we cannot control: the weather, the actions of others, the passing of time, and the events that happen outside our immediate sphere of influence. These forces are beyond our reach. Yet, so many of us spend countless hours worrying about them, trying to change what is immutable. In doing so, we squander our energy and focus on things that do not serve our peace of mind. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, teaches us that we must accept what is outside of our control. He writes, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us." What is up to us, according to Epictetus, are our thoughts, actions, and judgments. These are the things we have direct power over. How we respond to a situation, how we manage our emotions, and how we choose to act in the face of adversity are all within our domain. By focusing on what is within our control, we free ourselves from the grip of external events. For example, imagine you are caught in traffic. You cannot control the other drivers, the condition of the roads, or the time it takes to reach your destination. However, you do have control over your response. You can choose to remain calm, use the time to reflect or listen to something productive, or simply accept that the delay is out of your hands. The choice to remain at peace in a frustrating situation is empowering. You have transformed the experience by focusing on your response instead of trying to control the uncontrollable. It is in this space of acceptance that true peace is found. When we learn to let go of the need to control everything, we stop fighting reality. Instead of exhausting ourselves by pushing against the natural flow of life, we allow ourselves to move with it. This is not about passivity or resignation, but about choosing to engage with the world in a more mindful, intentional way. The Stoics also recognize that we are often at the mercy of our own desires, seeking to control outcomes that are beyond us. We might desire success, approval, recognition, or material possessions. These desires are not inherently wrong, but when they become the focus of our lives, they lead to suffering. If we tie our happiness to the achievement of external goals that we cannot always control, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, Stoicism teaches that happiness comes from cultivating inner virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These qualities are entirely within our control, and when we develop them, we find a deeper and more enduring sense of fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reflected on this idea in his Meditations, where he wrote about the importance of distinguishing between what is up to us and what is not. He believed that the key to a fulfilling life was in accepting what we cannot change and focusing on perfecting our character. "If you are distressed by any external thing," he wrote, "it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. The true source of our suffering, according to Marcus, is not the events themselves, but how we choose to interpret and respond to them. When we learn to accept the things we cannot control, we shift our mindset from one of resistance to one of acceptance. We let go of our expectations and embrace what is. In doing so, we cultivate a sense of calm and clarity that allows us to navigate life with greater ease. The chaos of the world no longer feels like something we must fight against, but something we can move through with grace. Ultimately, the practice of controlling what we can and accepting what we cannot is a powerful tool for leading a life of purpose and peace. It teaches us to focus on our actions and thoughts, to invest our energy in what we can influence, and to find contentment in the present moment. By doing so, we can face life's challenges with a sense of inner strength and resilience, knowing that we have the power to shape our response to whatever comes our way. In today's world, it is easy to fall into the trap of constantly wanting more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. Society often equates success with accumulation, and we are conditioned to believe that happiness is just one more desire away. However, the Stoics present a very different perspective: desire less, and you will receive more. This concept, while seemingly paradoxical, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and holds profound wisdom for anyone seeking peace, fulfillment, and contentment. At the heart of this idea is the notion that our desires are the root cause of much of our suffering. When we place our happiness in external things, whether material possessions, status, or achievements, we tie our peace of mind to things that are temporary and uncontrollable. What happens when we don't get what we desire? Disappointment, frustration, and dissatisfaction. What happens when we do get what we want? Often it's not as fulfilling as we imagined, and the cycle of wanting more begins again. This endless pursuit creates a sense of perpetual yearning, never allowing us to feel truly content. The Stoics, led by thinkers like Epictetus and Seneca, believed that the key to happiness lies in reducing our desires. By wanting less, we free ourselves from the relentless chase for external validation or material wealth. This doesn't mean we abandon all goals or cease to enjoy life's pleasures. Rather, it means we stop placing our sense of self-worth and contentment in things that are beyond our control. One of the fundamental teachings of Stoicism is that true wealth lies in contentment. When we desire less, we begin to recognize the abundance that already exists in our lives. We start to appreciate the simple pleasures, the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a good conversation, or the satisfaction of a well-done task. In desiring less, we remove the mental clutter that distracts us from experiencing the present moment fully. Rather than constantly chasing the next big thing, we develop a deeper appreciation for what we already have. Furthermore, when we desire less, we open ourselves up to receiving more, not in the form of material possessions, but in terms of life's intangible rewards. When we stop desperately seeking approval or validation, we create space for genuine relationships, deeper connections, and meaningful experiences. The more we detach from the need for external validation, the more we can focus on internal growth, cultivating virtues like wisdom, kindness, and patience. These internal qualities are lasting and contribute to a sense of fulfillment that external desires can never provide. The Stoics also recognize that by desiring less, we are better able to cope with life's inevitable hardships. When we are not overly attached to a specific outcome, we can adapt more easily when things don't go as planned. This is a form of mental resilience, the ability to remain grounded even in the face of adversity. Our desires often cloud our judgment and create unrealistic expectations. By desiring less, we accept things as they are, without the burden of unfulfilled wishes. In this acceptance, we find a deeper form of peace, knowing that we are not constantly at the mercy of our desires. By choosing to desire less, we also learn to live in harmony with nature. The Stoics believed that we should align our actions with the natural order of the world. Excessive desires often lead us to act in ways that go against nature, consuming more than we need, harming others in pursuit of our goals, or living in a constant state of discontent. When we desire less, we cultivate a sense of balance and harmony with the world around us, recognizing that we do not need to dominate nature or others to feel whole. In the end, the Stoic practice of desiring less invites us to step off the treadmill of endless striving. By reducing our wants and focusing on what truly matters, we create space for a more fulfilling, peaceful, and meaningful life. Instead of seeking happiness in external things, we turn inward and find contentment in simplicity. We receive more than we ever expected, not through accumulation, but through a deep sense of gratitude, peace, and alignment with the natural flow of life. In life, obstacles are an inevitable part of the human experience. Whether they come in the form of personal struggles, professional setbacks, or unforeseen challenges, they often seem like barriers that stand in the way of our progress. However, Stoicism teaches us that rather than seeing obstacles as something to avoid or overcome, we should see them as opportunities for growth. The Stoic maxim, "the obstacle becomes the way," encapsulates the idea that the very challenges we face are the means through which we develop wisdom, strength, and resilience. Instead of resisting life's difficulties, we can choose to embrace them as pathways to a better, more virtuous life. The phrase "the obstacle becomes the way" was famously articulated by Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, in his Meditations. In his Reflections, Marcus Aurelius wrote about how the obstacles he encountered in his reign were not impediments to his goals, but rather opportunities for self-improvement. He recognized that challenges were not separate from the path to success, but were, in fact, a crucial part of it. This mindset transforms our perception of obstacles. They are no longer something to dread or avoid, but a part of the journey that must be faced head-on. When we view obstacles through the lens of Stoicism, we see them as invitations to cultivate virtues such as patience, perseverance, and courage. For instance, when confronted with a difficult situation, we have the choice to react with frustration and defeat, or we can pause, reflect, and use the moment as an opportunity to exercise self-control. By maintaining a calm and rational mindset, we can approach the challenge with clarity, making better decisions and learning from the experience. In this way, the obstacle becomes the teacher that shows us how to become stronger, wiser, and more grounded. Consider the example of a person who is facing a career setback, such as a job loss or missed promotion. Initially, such an event can feel like a huge obstacle and unwanted interruption in their plans and aspirations. However, a Stoic approach encourages the individual to look at the situation from a different perspective. Instead of focusing on disappointment, they can view this setback as an opportunity for growth. It could be a chance to reflect on their true goals, to develop new skills, or to find a career path that aligns more closely with their values. In this way, the obstacle is not a roadblock but a catalyst for personal evolution. This Stoic view of obstacles also teaches us the power of resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges our way, but it is how we respond to those challenges that determines our character. Rather than expecting life to be smooth and without difficulty, we can prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally to face adversity with composure. We recognize that obstacles are temporary and that, like all things, they will eventually pass. In the meantime, we focus on how we can grow through them, understanding that each challenge adds to the strength of our character. The Stoics also remind us that obstacles are often external to us, but our reaction to them is always within our control. We cannot always dictate the events that happen to us, but we can choose how to respond. By adopting an attitude of acceptance and focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we transform obstacles into opportunities. This shift in perspective frees us from the paralysis of frustration and empowers us to move forward, no matter how difficult the path may seem. Ultimately, the principle that the obstacle becomes the way is a reminder that life's challenges are not enemies to be defeated, but allies in our pursuit of a virtuous life. Through every struggle, we have the chance to grow, learn, and become the best versions of ourselves. By facing obstacles with a Stoic mindset, we turn adversity into an essential part of our journey, where each challenge becomes a step closer to a more fulfilled and meaningful life. Living in the present moment is a principle that resonates deeply within Stoic philosophy, and it serves as a crucial practice for attaining peace of mind and true contentment. In a world where our minds are often consumed by the past or the future, the Stoics remind us that the only time we truly possess is the present. This moment, the one unfolding right now, is the only reality we can engage with directly. All our actions, thoughts, and experiences happen in the present. The past is behind us, and the future remains uncertain, but the present is where life is happening. The Stoics, especially figures like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, understood the importance of focusing on the present moment. Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." What he meant was that many of us are preoccupied with desires that are not rooted in the now, and this keeps us from experiencing true happiness. By placing our attention on the present, We free ourselves from unnecessary cravings and anxieties, learning instead to appreciate what we already have. The Stoic idea of living in the present doesn't mean we abandon all plans for the future or ignore the lessons of the past. It simply means that we don't allow our past mistakes or future worries to steal the only moment we truly control. Often we find ourselves dwelling on past regrets, replaying events in our minds, or worrying about what might happen in the future. These mental distractions prevent us from fully experiencing the richness of the present. By continuously focusing on what has already happened, or what might occur, we miss the opportunities, beauty, and clarity that are available to us right here, right now. To live in the present moment, Stoicism teaches us the importance of acceptance. We must accept the present as it is, without resistance. Life, by its nature, is unpredictable. We can make plans, but we cannot foresee every obstacle or turn in the road. When we accept the present moment, we acknowledge that life is as it is, without demanding that it be otherwise. This acceptance does not mean passivity, but rather a calm and composed response to whatever comes our way. Whether it's a joyous occasion or a difficult challenge, embracing the present allows us to move through it with grace and wisdom. Moreover, focusing on the present moment helps us avoid the constant cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Often we are caught in a mindset that if we just achieve something, whether it's getting a promotion, buying a new house, or traveling to a new destination, then we'll be happy. But Stoic wisdom teaches that happiness is not found in external circumstances. It's found in our internal state, in how we choose to view and respond to the present moment. By cultivating inner tranquility and not letting our desires control us, we develop a deeper sense of satisfaction that isn't dependent on external achievements. One of the best ways to begin living in the present moment, according to Stoicism, is through mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we develop the ability to remain aware of our thoughts and feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. When we acknowledge what is happening right now without judgment or anticipation, we can begin to direct our focus where it truly matters. We can notice our surroundings, feel gratitude for the simple things, and recognize the moments of beauty that are present in even the most mundane situations. Living in the present moment also improves our relationships with others. When we are present, we can fully engage with those around us, listen without distraction, and offer our undivided attention. This strengthens our connections and deepens our empathy, allowing us to respond to others with greater care and understanding. In summary, living in the present moment is not about ignoring the past or disregarding the future, but about choosing to engage fully with the here and now. By focusing on the present, we experience life more fully, free from the burdens of regret or fear. We come to realize that the present moment is all we ever truly have, and within it lies the key to peace, happiness, and fulfillment. The Stoics understood that by embracing the present, we create a foundation for a life that is not governed by external events or fleeting desires, but by inner peace and purpose. Trusting in nature's flow is a core principle of Stoicism that encourages us to align ourselves with the natural order of the universe. The Stoics believe that everything in life unfolds according to a rational and purposeful design, and it is only through accepting and trusting this flow that we can find peace and fulfillment. The idea is rooted in the belief that the universe operates in harmony and that we, as part of this greater whole, must embrace the unfolding of events rather than resist or try to control them. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the recognition that we cannot control everything that happens in our lives. External events, the actions of others, and even the forces of nature are beyond our influence. Instead of struggling against what life presents, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our own reactions, attitudes, and decisions. Trusting in nature's flow means accepting that there are forces beyond our control and surrendering to the wisdom of the universe, recognizing that the path we are on is part of a larger, rational order. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reflected on the idea of nature's flow in his meditations. He reminds us that the universe is constantly changing, and we must adapt to these changes. Nature itself is a constant process of growth, decay, and renewal, and to resist this natural cycle is to fight against reality. When we trust in nature's flow, we stop struggling against change and instead embrace the natural progression of life. We learn to accept each moment as part of a larger, meaningful process. Trusting in nature's flow also involves accepting the impermanence of all things. The Stoics understood that nothing in life lasts forever, whether it's wealth, health, relationships, or even our own lives. Change is inevitable. And when we trust in nature's flow, we come to terms with this impermanence. Rather than fearing the unknown or clinging to what we have, we learn to appreciate the transient nature of life and embrace it with open arms. This acceptance frees us from the anxiety that often accompanies the fear of loss or the desire for permanence. The Stoic concept of logos, or the rational principle that governs the universe, also ties into this idea of trusting nature's flow. According to Stoicism, the universe operates in accordance with logos, which means that everything that happens is part of a rational, interconnected system. Even the challenges and obstacles we face are not random or meaningless. They are opportunities for growth and self-improvement. When we trust in nature's flow, we trust that everything, even the hardships, has a purpose in the greater scheme of things. These challenges are not obstacles to our happiness, but stepping stones that help us become the best versions of ourselves. Furthermore, trusting in nature's flow allows us to cultivate a sense of peace and acceptance. We learn that resistance to what is happening in the present moment only causes us suffering. The Stoics recognize that many of our frustrations come from wishing things were different than they are, whether it's wanting a situation to unfold in a certain way or wishing the world were more aligned with our personal desires. When we trust in nature's flow, we stop forcing things to be different and instead allow them to unfold as they are meant to. This does not mean passivity or resignation. Trusting in nature's flow is not about inaction or surrendering our will to fate. It means recognizing that while we may not control the events that happen around us, we do control how we respond to them. We can choose to respond with wisdom, patience, and courage, accepting the flow of life while also acting with integrity and purpose. Trusting in nature's flow is about aligning our will with the greater order of the universe, working with life rather than against it. In essence, trusting in nature's flow is about letting go of the need to control everything and instead embracing life's natural rhythm. By accepting the world as it is and responding with calmness and resilience, we allow ourselves to move through life with grace, knowing that every moment is part of a larger, purposeful journey. This Stoic approach to life frees us from the anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable and helps us find peace in the understanding that everything happens as it should. Stillness is often misunderstood in today's fast-paced world. In a society where success is often equated with constant action, noise, and movement, the idea of stillness can seem counterintuitive, even weak. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that stillness is strength, a profound inner calm that empowers us to face life's challenges with clarity, resilience, and wisdom. This strength is not found in the absence of activity, but in the ability to remain grounded and composed in the face of life's inevitable turbulence. In the context of Stoicism, stillness refers to the ability to maintain emotional and mental equilibrium, regardless of the external circumstances. It's about cultivating an inner peace that is unaffected by the chaos of the world around us. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote extensively about the importance of stillness in his meditations. He often reflected on the value of maintaining a tranquil mind amidst the pressures of leadership, personal challenges, and the demands of public life. For Marcus, stillness was a form of self-mastery, a state of being that allowed him to make decisions with reason and wisdom, unaffected by fear or anxiety. Stillness's strength is rooted in the Stoic practice of control and acceptance. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control external events, we do have control over how we respond to them. In moments of stress, confusion, or adversity, the tendency is to react impulsively, whether through anger, frustration, or anxiety. However, when we cultivate stillness, we develop the ability to pause and reflect before acting. This pause is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful tool for self-control. By choosing to remain still and centered, we prevent our emotions from driving us into rash decisions that we might later regret. One of the central aspects of stillness is the ability to clear the mind of unnecessary distractions. In our modern world, we are bombarded with constant stimuli, information, social media, noise, and demands on our time. This constant stimulation creates mental clutter that makes it difficult to think clearly or make thoughtful decisions. Stillness allows us to cut through this noise and focus on what truly matters. It creates the space for deep reflection, which enables us to align our actions with our values and purpose. In a world of distractions, those who can find stillness are often the ones who make the most thoughtful, effective decisions. Moreover, stillness is a form of emotional resilience. Life will inevitably present us with challenges, difficult relationships, unexpected setbacks, personal losses, or health struggles. In these moments, the natural impulse is to react with fear, anger, or sadness. However, when we practice stillness, we learn to detach from these immediate emotional responses and observe them from a place of objectivity. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions, but rather creating the space to understand them, process them, and respond with intention rather than impulse. In doing so, we develop emotional strength, becoming less vulnerable to the ups and downs of life. Stillness also connects us to the concept of acceptance. Stoicism teaches that much of our suffering comes from resistance to the way things are. We resist change, we struggle against adversity, and we fight against circumstances that are outside our control. Stillness, on the other hand, is an act of acceptance. It is the ability to face the present moment as it is, without judgment or resistance. By accepting things as they come, we free ourselves from the mental and emotional turmoil that comes from trying to change the unchangeable. In this way, stillness becomes a form of inner strength, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with a sense of calm and composure. There is also a deep connection between stillness and presence. When we are still, we are fully present in the moment. Instead of being caught in our thoughts about the past or worries about the future, we engage with life as it unfolds. This presence allows us to connect more deeply with others, to appreciate the beauty in everyday moments, and to make decisions that are in alignment with our true values. Stillness, in this sense, helps us live with intention and purpose, rather than reacting mindlessly to the world around us. In a world that often prioritizes speed, noise, and constant action, stillness offers a form of strength that is subtle yet powerful. It is the strength of calmness in the face of chaos, the strength of clarity in the midst of confusion, and the strength of wisdom in times of uncertainty. The Stoic practice of cultivating stillness empowers us to approach life with resilience, mindfulness, and grace, no matter the circumstances. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the presence of inner peace that allows us to move through life with confidence and purpose.